That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help people stay sober. Glad you're here today. Good to be here as well. I have one of my best buddies here with me today. We used to play basketball with mullets. We used to crush beers in the 5th grade, and we smoked fat blunts together all throughout our teens and into our 20s. We hit a plethora of A's games together, and we've done a few podcasts together. My good buddy Seth Manter is back on the podcast. It's really good to have him here. We're going to get to him in just a minute. A couple of announcements for you. I just created That Sober Guy podcast community on Locals. Here's the deal with that. It's kind of like Instagram meets Patreon. As many people said, you crazy bastard, you just went ghost and deleted every single social media platform you had, because that's what I do sometimes, and I did, and I'm over it. But I found Locals. It was a great place. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The app provides direct access to your favorite creators. They create their own community and get exclusive content, including videos. You can interact with other supporters in the community. And then the creator sets the tone for what goes into their communities. And here's the best part that I love the most. There's no behind the scenes censorship. It's free. It's amazing. And they care about the privacy of people who use it. They don't sell your data. And it's a subscription-based service, but you can follow for free, so you get free content, and you can also be a supporter of it. It's a good gig. It's a lot of fun. I'd love to have you join if you're not in there. There's plenty of content going on, some good convos, and people holding each other accountable, talking about recovery, having some good times, posting some podcasts and videos and all that good stuff. And in fact, I put out a podcast earlier this week titled "What Are You Struggling With?" And it was different questions and thoughts from some of the people inside the Locals community, Theron, Alex, and Colin. So you can go back, check that out, kind of see what's going on in there. It's a great place to stay connected. You can get the app, just get the Locals app, go to your app store. You can also go to thatsoberguy.com, and the links are on there. And of course, they're all in the show notes. Anything we talk about today will be in the show notes to make it easy for you just to click on. Speaking of thatsoberguy.com, you can leave us a voicemail there. You can send us a message through the contact form if you want to holler. If you got questions, comments, whatever. And then you can grab How to Navigate the First 90 Days of Sobriety digital podcast course. And then last but not least, I've had some people hitting me up about hats. If you want a hat or a hoodie, t-shirts, you can go to the website, thatsoberguy.com. You can find those there. And if you type in the promo code no hangover, because fuck that, we don't want no hangovers anymore. I'm too damn old for that. I don't think I can manage. You can get free shipping through the end of the month of March. So type in no hangover, all caps, and you'll get that free shipping provided there. All right. Good to be here tonight. It's an evening session tonight for us as we're recording. Seth hasn't been on the podcast. We were trying to figure it out, and I probably should go back and maybe backlink some of the old podcasts in there. But it's been a while. We've known each other a long time, since the days of mullets and shotgunning beers as our parents partied together, watching pornography as 6th graders, not knowing what the hell's going on. Oh, Tina. Oh, Tina. Yeah. We were some crazy, crazy kids, and now we're just crazy 40-year-olds. So Seth, it's good to have you on the podcast, brother. How are you, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? It's great to be back, dude. It's I'm actually downloading the Locals app right now. So I'm a little sidetracked, but yeah, man, it's definitely good to be back. I remember when you asked me to come on, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, but I don't want to do any of that Zoom bullshit. Can we do it like old school in the fucking in person? In person, dude. So this is great, man. It feels like old times. Old times,
yeah, old school.
For sure.
I like doing them in person too, and that's one thing I like about Joe Rogan's podcast. He does everything in person. I guess when you have that big of a platform, you can afford to fly people out and fly people in and stuff. But when we get the opportunity to do them in person, it's definitely much better having that conversation. And hey, I mean, I like the Zoom availability. It does make it easy to be able to connect with a lot of different people, but there's nothing like a good old in-person, old-fashioned conversation. And I wanted to tell you, and now I'm glad you already did it without me even asking, the Locals app. I know you're not really a social media guy either. You never really have been. And, it's really cool, dude. I think you're going to dig it because you can hop on there and it's private. You know what I mean? Like it's not, all your info is not blasted out really. I guess it's the same if you wanted to post that kind of stuff, I guess. But seems a little bit different to me, a little bit more, what's the word? Inclusive. A little more inclusive.
Yeah, definitely not into the social media. I mean, my social media is my email and a goddamn phone call. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll definitely, I'm down to check this out for sure. So I'm going to go by Seth the Gaff.
Seth the Gaff.
Oh yeah. All right.
Hell yeah. Give Seth the Gaff a follow on there. And, that'll be awesome, dude. Now we can crack some jokes and Locals and dick around and stuff and have some fun. And that was one of the things too. It was like, even with the podcast, obviously, I think people who've listened to it for a long time kind of know this already. And same within Locals, like, yeah, I love talking about recovery and like staying sober and that stuff. But dude, like I think, people who don't know me personally, you would think just if you listen to the podcast, that's like all I do is recovery. And it's not. Like I have a life outside, like all of us do. We all have lives outside. And yeah, that's a big part of our lives, obviously, but there's so much other shit that we do. And so I think like with something like social media, Locals, even, Instagram, Facebook, you can kind of get, you get some of that real life interaction, like what is really going on, which is kind of cool. I wanted to tell you real quick, do you ever go to California Burrito?
So yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I haven't been there for a while since I started this like crazy vegan thing.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the good places that I used to roll to fucking get my fat on, I had to cut out because they serve like all those crazy, silly animal products and whatnot. And I don't do that anymore.
I don't do that. I don't eat animals. You're a fucking asshole if you do, you fucking bitch.
Yeah. So definitely not on that tip. I just chose not to because it just makes me feel better. So I tried it as a challenge, you know what I mean, for like a couple weeks or whatever. And I was like, God damn, like, man, better. I could feel like this for real. And all I have to do is like not eat that stuff. So yeah, no, definitely not into the, you're such an asshole because you eat fucking animal products or whatever.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you look great too, by the way.
Oh, thanks, bud. I feel great. I feel great.
I'm with you on that too. I have nothing against what anyone wants to do as long as it's not hurting anybody else. And, there's no reason to, we were talking about this before we started. Everyone's reality, everyone's situation, everything's different. And so it's good to be in a respectable sense when it comes to that, right? We don't need to project all of our shit. We do it this way and you should too, or you're a piece of shit. Not, hey, why? But the reason I bring it up, I wanted to share a quick funny story with you.
I do want to hear about the California Burrito.
California Burrito. And obviously, if you go back to 2 episodes ago, I had Coach Trent on and we just started a 90-day challenge. So he's got me on this meal plan and I'm doing things a little bit different. So I haven't been to California Burrito, needless to say, anytime in the last week. So I just want to preface that before I start this story. I've been eating way too many number 24s at Burrito Express, right? Bacon, egg, or Burrito Express, California Burrito. Bacon, egg, and cheese burrito with hot sauce on the side, right? They fucking know my name there, right? Probably a bad thing when you roll up and they're like, good morning, Shane. How are you? Number 24, extra cheese cut in half. Yep. All right. So it was hilarious though. So I'm sitting there, extra cheese too, cut that shit in half because sometimes I would eat it in the morning and then I'd eat the other half for lunch because they're pretty big. But so I'm sitting there. This is 2 weeks ago, I think. And, I'm sitting there in the drive-thru. I already order. Hey, good morning. Yeah, I want, number 24, extra cheese, cut in half, hot sauce on the side. All right. So there's a couple cars in front of me, and I'm sitting there. And you know how like when you're kind of just like spacing out a little bit? Well, I caught myself after about 30 seconds of what I was actually thinking. And here's what I was thinking. Man, they should have a burrito card, like buy 10 burritos and your 11th is free. And I seriously considered asking her at the window, and like, it was like right about to come out of my mouth. And I went, dude, you fat ass, like stop it right now. A burrito card? Like, what is wrong with you, dude? So that kind of led into this mindset of like, dude, I really probably need to dump like 15 pounds right now and watch what I'm eating. You know, hey, maybe a number 24 once a month or something.
Yeah.
Not bad, but, and you know, every day. 3, 4,
5 times a week, every day. You know what's even funnier to me, dude, is that entitlement. Like, hey, I bought 10 of these motherfuckers. You better give me one for free, right? Like everywhere you go nowadays has the buy 10, get one free card. You know what I mean? And so now we've gotten to this place in our lives that we expect that everywhere that we go and on a regular basis has that card available for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's hilarious, dude.
I am a loyal customer.
Yeah,
you must provide me with a free burrito.
Hell yeah.
I want my 11th free, cut in half with extra cheese.
That's crazy, dude. Nothing better than something for free, for sure.
Yeah, you know, maybe once a month or something, but I'm going to take a little break.
Hell yeah. So, and now we have 2 locations in Vacaville, right?
We do.
So there's, you could go on one side of town and get your number 24 and then come out on the other side and get your 24.
Yep.
You get 2 free burritos after buying 20, I guess.
It would have, it just occurred to me something. I've never been to the one on Peabody yet. I go to the one on Monte Vista by, you know, cause it's closer to my house.
Yeah.
Now, it really would have been an issue. Just realize this. Had I been hiding out, going to the Peabody one, so that way they didn't see me coming in there every morning. And then I walk through the door and my 10-year-old goes, oh, hey, Dad, number 24, huh? She knows every day, too. I'm like, oh, man. Freaking hilarious, dude. So what's been up with you, man? How's things going? And it's, you know, I already said it, but it's really nice to have you back and just hang out, dude.
Yeah, man, it's been, dude, you know, so things are, you know, just as good as I guess they can be expected to be, right? This fucking last year has been kind of a struggle for all of us. But you know, I think for me, man, I've really tried to make the most of it. You know, I kind of got back into a lot of, the things that were making me feel, good and kind of connected to what I believe to be my higher power, my spirit. You know, so I had the ability to reconnect, man. Been doing a shit ton of yoga, got into the hot yoga, was even able to turn one of my rooms in the house into like a little hot yoga studio, man. So I was hitting that on a regular basis, really touched into the fitness thing. And then, man, the meditation, really got back into trying to sit for at least 30 minutes every morning. You know, so been doing a lot of that, dude. Tried the CrossFit out for a little bit, you know, and then doing all the other shit, man, going to work, you know, just like normal people do in 2020, right? In the beginning of 21, you know, everything's kind of at a slower, more glacial pace, dude, and all the social distancing and, you know, all the PPE that we're wearing and whatnot. So, you know, definitely been dealing with the same exact shit that everyone else has been dealing with. You know, I think the only difference for me is that my kid's 21. She's going to be 21 this weekend.
So crazy,
dude,
bro.
Which is
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Bailey.
Yeah, 21.
But yeah, man. So I don't have the littles. You know, not having to deal with the school, but definitely got friends and family members that, you know, I feel that pain. So, you know, to sit back and say like, oh man, it's been good. Like life's been fucking great. You know, that'd be a big lie. But on the other hand, you know, it's my belief, man, that I've grown a lot over the last year, you know, with all the struggles, not just the struggles that I've been through, man, or that my wife had to go, you know, went through, with the businesses being closed down and all this other stuff that came along in 2020. You know, but kind of sharing those struggles with family, most definitely with friends, and just kind of coming back with, man, trying to have a little bit more gratitude and a sense of compassion for, you know, the what 2020 has done to people and to the world. Yeah. You know, so I think it's, you know, kind of an expected, you know, response to, you know, oh, how have you been? You know, like I mean, I've been better. I've been shittier. You know what I mean? And I've fucking grown a lot. You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, super stoked to be here. Like I, kind of really pumped and looking forward to this all day.
Yeah. That's I like what you're saying about the growth thing too. And as you were kind of saying it, it even occurred to me like with last year, just how when you're going through certain stuff, you can't, you sometimes you're blinded by just whatever, cause you're fucking in it. Right. And I was like, there was a lot of times last year when I was really angry, like just pissed off. It wasn't going my way. I didn't think it should be like this or like that. And I've been through this before, obviously just different situations like many of us have. I'm sure you have too. Obviously it was nothing like it was last year, but my point is it's so often and it's so fucking badass. Like when you come through it and you can look back in hindsight and see where you actually worked through it and made progress. And like, I can see some of that now. And it sounds like you can see some of that now too. Like you mentioned growth a couple times, like you're able to kind of look back and go, okay, hey, I made it through X, Y, and Z. It was hard. Here's what I did that I didn't like. Here's some of the things that I did that worked. And that is where I think that we continue to grow in versus beating ourselves up. Fuck, I relapsed, or I went through this and I didn't, I messed this relationship, whatever the hell the case is, you know what I mean? Like we're always able to look back and grow in that. And that's like why they say like this program is like a lifelong thing, whatever program it is that anybody does, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's not like, okay, fucking A, I'm sober now and my life is just 10 times. Like, no, like how many years you have? 9 going on 10?
I'm going on. So October, well, I'm going on 11, but
damn, bro, I can't believe
somewhere, so I got sober in 2010.
Yeah. 2010. I got sober 2013. And my point to that is time is awesome. Number one, I think it's great and it's important that we celebrate it, but it's also irrelevant in a sense too, because we're just like, it's life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not about just not drinking anymore. It's like, how do I live through a pandemic, through being a dad, being a husband, like trying to work, pay the bill, like all life shit. How do I do that without having to lean on booze to like cope with it? You know what I mean? That's where like the trick comes in, and it's not easy.
Yeah. And I think, whether it be booze or food or whatever the fuck it is, right? You know what I mean? How do we get through this shit without having that coping mechanism? And, I wish I had a good answer because, I truly feel that, a lot of the things that I do today are most definitely coping mechanisms, dude. I look at my, the yoga practice that I just discovered a year ago. There's days and weeks that, maybe I'll only practice 2 or 1 or maybe even 3 days a week. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I need to get back into the fucking studio, whether it's at home or the one that I go to, and it's like, so that is my new coping mechanism. Like that's where I get my fucking head right. That's where I, find my center. But dude, so I just want to go back, man. And I want to share like a little experience, man. I don't know if you remember this, right at the very beginning, when the COVID thing, I love what everyone, there's so many different terms.
The lingo,
call it. Yeah. Right.
I fucking hate it.
One of my favorite is, this whole COVID thing. So, or when COVID hit, right. This is so cliche, but so I don't know if you remember, man, but we went for this little run, right? And it didn't, at the end of the day, like it didn't turn out to be a little run at all. I think I clocked fucking 8 or 9 miles and it was like, oh my fucking God, my body is like hurting right now. But I remember, having some conversation, dude, and there was a lot of dis-ease with the both of us, man. Like we didn't know what the fuck the year was going to bring or what was going to turn out. But man, dude, I do remember one thing. And, just to kind of excuse me for saying it, man, but I do remember there was a lot of anger in you.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that there was, for me, it was just like, fuck, who, like trying to, I was at a point in my life where I was trying to talk, you know, my wife off of her ledge, right? Because everything was so new and we just didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And I think, you know, I brought a lot of that into that little fucking run and I didn't know like where it was going to end up, but I just want to recognize now that, you know, we talked about that growth and the struggle in the very beginning, man, and to see where you're at now, like it's just a true example that the testament of time has the ability to heal as long as you're willing to accept what that time brings to you. You know what I mean? Good, and kind of find resolve or solace in knowing that, you know, at the end of the day, the control that we have with what goes on outside of our mind and our heart is very little. Yeah. Right. And even the control that we have in our mind, like that's a fucking lost cause on me. Right. Cause I don't control that. I truly believe that. But so I just want to honor that and recognize that in you, that's what time had done to you, because I felt like, bro, you were fucking angry.
Oh, I was pissed, bro. Yeah. I fucking quit doing the podcast for a couple months. I was so fucking pissed off and like just over it, you know, and everyone has their different views and opinions and whatever. And I'm going to leave all that shit out of it because it's really irrelevant, because it goes back to my reality is different than somebody else's. And I'm allowed to have those views, and so are you, and so is somebody else. Right. At the end of the day, though, we're all in this process, you know? And so for me, my process was I was pissed and I was trying to figure it out and I was trying to like understand it. And still till this day, you know, I've been able to get through some of that. None of it still fucking makes sense to me, to be honest. Like there's so many things that just don't make any sense. And I think the growth that has come from that is I finally got to a point, you know, through, you know, just talking with my sponsor, talking with friends, and just some inner searching and stuff, and then trying to just kind of let it go, is that I don't have to have the answers to it. I don't have to know everything. And that's really, really tough for me. I don't know if, you know, people can relate to who are listening right now, or if you can, Seth, like, you know, if you want to have the answers, you want to know this, you want to know that, like, why? Like, that's a good one. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why can't I quit drinking? You know what I'm saying? Like that, whatever the question is, why? Well, sometimes we don't know why. We just have to grind through that process and be in it and know that eventually we're going to pull through it, because everything's fucking impermanent, the good and the bad. You know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to grasp though, when you're stuck in the middle of it. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, and so, you know, I truly believe, man, that it's not our fault that we're not okay with the things that are not good. Yeah. You know, I think, you know, I always go back to the 4 agreements, dude, about what's talked about, you know, our conditioning and our upbringing. It kind of conditions us into thinking, you know, categorizing things as good or bad, right? And when we're faced with that bad, we always chase the good feeling, you know what I mean? And we come, we have this, I don't know, it's a disease of not feeling good, right? So we're always grasping that good feeling and not being okay with the bad. And I think, you know, that's where that question comes up is why? Like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to the world? Well, at the end of the day, it happens to everybody. It's going on all over the place. It's just your ability to accept and be with the moment, or my ability to accept and be with the moment, and then allow it to pass and allow it to come. Right. Yeah. I think, you know, one of the teachers I listen to on a regular basis, you know, he brings up the fact that, you know, circumstance does not create suffering, right? It's our relationship to circumstance that creates that suffering. And I think that is so fucking powerful, right? And to digest that a little bit more, you know, if we allow ourselves to be okay with circumstances that aren't inherently good, you know, based off of our conditioning or our upbringing, then we're not going to be able to get through those scenarios. But if we know and come to understand that those scenarios that aren't good, or those circumstances that aren't good, if we understand that they will eventually pass and they will eventually go, I think there's a lot of resolve and peace in that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does make sense. And having to sit back and just sit in it and not try to fight it almost. And that's a tough thing to do, especially when you have a fighting spirit, right? Like, there's plenty of us out there, including myself, who are like, fuck that. Like, I'm fighting like this, this or that. But here's one thing that Buddy pointed out to me. And this has been actually in a couple different circumstances or situations, because I would always ask, well, what am I supposed to do? Just lay down. Like, let's just use an example of not being able to drink, right? Like, you want to fight it. Like, well, no, I want to fight, I'm going to fight. Well, okay, you just got to accept. And maybe that's actually a bad example. Let's just say in general, fighting anything, you name it, pick it, whatever. You can fight things and you can speak up about things. But I had to ask myself a question. Is it robbing me of my peace? Is it robbing me of my time with my family? Is it robbing me of, is it putting me in a state of anger or anxiety? And if it is, which every single time it was, then I'm not in a good spiritual place to challenge that or to fight it. So I need to fight, because I can challenge anything. I can, speak up. That's totally cool. I would always encourage anybody to do that. If you really believe in something, then go for it. But like, it has to be done in a way that there's not anger and angst and whatever, and you lose all of that peace inside you. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? Because I can't control it really at the end of the day. And so that's kind of some of the stuff for me. And that makes a lot of sense when you're talking about these circumstances, whatever circumstance it is. It doesn't necessarily create the suffering. We actually create it. And real quick, I'm going to kick it back to you because you mentioned gratitude earlier. I think with that circumstance doesn't create suffering. If we can find gratitude in any circumstance, because there's always some gratitude in anything, no matter what. We just might have to look a little harder for it. That can help us get through anything, I think,
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to backstep a little bit too, man, because, we talk about that fighting spirit of not being okay with exactly what is. I mean, that whole thinking alone is what led me to fucking rehab twice, right? So to get out of, current circumstance, I would drown that shit in a bottle of fucking Jim Beam and a 30-pack of fucking Budweiser and an 8-ball of cocaine, right? And maybe a blunt or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was not okay with the circumstance, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether you want to call it a fighting spirit or whatever, I think for me, it was the suffering, that not being okay with exactly what was, that led me down that path to use or drink. You know what I mean? I always tell people, I don't believe that I had a problem with drinking or drugs. Maybe the problem was not knowing when to stop. But my problem was with dealing with fucking life and dealing with circumstance that I had no idea how to do. Now, just to be 100% clear and 100% honest, I still don't, right? The only way that I could deal with life right now is making a little bit of a healthier choice, whether it's going to the fucking yoga studio, whether it's sitting in meditation, talking to someone that suffers from being a fucking human, right? Those are the things that I have to do now that get me out of my mind and myself, because it's the same shit that would lead me to the booze or the drug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the fighting spirit is still there or still within me. I look at it as the sleeping tiger, right? If I don't continue to do the things that keep that tiger fucking sleeping, that fighting spirit is going to fucking rear its ugly head, and I'll be right back. Right. So as long as I'm okay, with exactly what is, I have a chance to keep that fighting tiger asleep. You know what I mean? So I was going to say I have a fighting chance, but I really don't want to fight it. I want to, I want to survive it, really, to be honest with you.
That's that surrender too, like surrendering to, to whatever it is, alcohol, fucking situation, circumstance. And it doesn't mean we're weak either. That's the thing I struggle with. Well, we surrender or like, don't be a pussy. You know what I mean? Like that's that old mentality. It doesn't really work a lot of the time, or any time at that. I just was reminded something too, and I meant to text you with this the other day and I totally forgot. Did I ever send you, the app Buddy made Sober Meditations?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I did. I have been listening to some of those in the last week or so, and I was thinking about you. I'm like, man, did I ever send these to Seth? I meant to, but he's got, he put together quite the collection on there. I didn't realize how many were on there. I know he'd been working on it for a minute. But anyways, everyone out there listening, if you're looking for sober meditations in general, the app is great. It's just called Sober Meditations. And, I think you can get it on the App Store or whatever too. So I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit to that, the meditation, the yoga. I know that's something that you've been into for, a long while now, and it's really a part of your lifestyle. And I hear people say that it's hard to meditate sometimes. It's hard for me to meditate sometimes too. I like to do it when I'm walking. I call that my meditation. I don't know that that's actually meditating. But it works for me right now. Like sitting still is really hard. Like for me, for a lot of other people out there. Any advice, any thoughts on that? What's your shit look like?
So I guess there's not a real, and I've listened to a lot of teachers, man, there's not a right or wrong way to meditate. The way that I see meditation, is being exactly in the fucking moment and recognizing exactly what arises and what comes and goes as the time passes, and not reacting to it in a manner that's going to allow me to distract from the exact present moment. If that makes any sense, right? Like, so when I sit, I just kind of, focus on my breath, right? Which is a pretty fundamental practice of meditation. But I really try and get into how am I feeling? Where is my mind at? Where is it going? And just be with it. You know what I mean? There's some days that, I can only sit for 5 or 10 minutes because I'm so fucking, there's so much unrest. And then there's other days that I could sit for 45 minutes to an hour.
It just depends.
And it just really depends, And then, obviously, so those are like unguided. And then there are most definitely, some great guided meditations out there. The Sober Meditation app is a good one. Not affiliated with any of these people, apps or people, but the Insight Timer too. I absolutely love the Insight Timer. There's a ton of guided meditations on there, and there's all kinds of, Dharma talks and all this other stuff, and then, I revert back to a lot of the older stuff, that kind of brought me into this, the Refuge Recovery, the Against the Stream, Wild Heart meditation. There's all kinds of stuff. It's, it's most definitely, mindfulness meditation is most definitely a buzzword in I guess the Western part of the world, you know what I mean? And you could Google it, and there's all kinds of resources and bullshit out there. So as far as the yoga goes, man, I really had a hard time with, and this is something that I brought up with and I talked about in the past, man. I really had a hard time when I lost my mom, dude. And so, she was really into the yoga, and it really kind of changed her life. And my dad was like, man, you need to like, just come to yoga with me. Just fucking try it. Like, right. And so I went, man, and not to be whatever, but I really felt like I connected with my mother, in the yoga studio. So that's one of the things, that kept me going back. Obviously there was a lot of physical changes in my body that I noticed, a lot of spiritual change. There's a certain pose in this practice of yoga that I do 3 to 4 times a week that after this pose, and it's been the same every time since I've doing this type of yoga, that after this certain pose, like there's this certain peace that comes over my body, and I'm like on this cloud for the evening.
Really?
Yeah, it's a trip.
I feel, well, it's like you're connecting though to something higher, or you are connecting to something higher, like no doubt.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a connection to spirit in that. And I also believe that there's a part of the pose that we were, you know, when we were in the womb or whatever, in our natural state before we came into this earth, that's what we were in. And I felt that that's where all of our goodness was created, right? And I'm getting like super, super deep and spiritual into my own thought. But if I didn't have these, like I wouldn't keep going back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's done something for me that is truly, truly amazing. I mean, don't get it twisted, man. Like I'm the fucking guy that used to clown on these fucking people doing yoga, and I'm over here fucking, you know, like I said, I feel out of place when I don't go at least 3 times a week. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like it activates something spiritually. And I definitely am a firm believer in the fact of there's like, we can tend to be dormant in our spirit. And I think that we're much more powerful spiritually than we actually know as human beings. And there's certain ways that you can access that: meditation, prayer, yoga, even exercise. Sometimes you can get in this heightened state of like euphoric feeling or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's where you mentioned this earlier too. The need, what did you say, to use, it was kind of talking about using a tool to escape or something. I can't remember what word you said, but, so in other words, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's yoga, whether it's food, whatever it is, we still tend to want to figure something out to escape sometimes. And I think that there's good versions of that are healthy. And then there's obviously not so good versions of that too. It's just about finding what works best for us. And so for you, I think that's freaking amazing. Like, you can't not go for a couple days and you feel out of whack. You feel jacked up. You don't feel right. Like, that's your routine, and it's a healthy routine versus, 12 years ago, that routine, you felt out of whack if you didn't have a 30 pack and a bottle of Jim Beam and 2 blunts and maybe some A1 Yola rolling through, crushing up some OxyContin. Okay, I'll just stop right there.
The oxys and fucking
that night, I remember one night in particular. Whoa, man, good Lord.
I think I was mixing. Yeah.
How the fuck are we still alive, bro? Like, we're so lucky. Seriously, we are so lucky to still be alive. Some of the shit we did, and that's all it would have taken is one time. And you hear so many people that have passed on because of that shit. They had one bad thing, and that's gratitude enough in itself right there, you know?
Yeah. And so I was talking to a guy the other night, about this path, right? And I told him, I was like, bro, like, I really feared for my fucking life. Mm-hmm. That's why I had to get sober, because I knew that if I continued that path that I was on, that I was going to fucking die. And I truly, really feel that in my heart of hearts, you know what I mean? And so, getting back to the gratitude, having a sense of, I don't know what the fuck I was going to say. I just kind of went blank there.
It happens. Yeah. That's what happens when we get 40. Well, you're 40. I'm 39 still, bitch, by the way.
Bro, I'll tell you what. Hey, so 40 for me, and I'm sure there's people that listen to this shit like, you motherfuckers are 40. Like, you ain't even old.
I know.
Right? But I totally feel that, 40 was probably one of my most happy, like, I feel fucking good, type birthdays. Since then, I've been killing fucking sweet tarts and Coca-Cola, which has kind of put a damper on the feelings. But yeah, dude, I feel good at 40, to be honest with you. I mean, the eyesight's kind of going downhill, and I'm losing more hair and getting some grays in the beard, dude. But I feel fucking great.
Dude, I got to say, I love a good Coke, bro. A nice ice cold Coke right out the fridge. You need to holler at Trent then too.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the podcast that we did too?
I haven't.
Check it out, because we talked a lot about just kind of what plan, and I think I was telling you that he's been programming my workouts and stuff. So it's cool. Like I literally have a kettlebell and a couple lightweight dumbbells and a yoga mat, and I can do everything at the park. It's a lot of conditioning stuff, but the program is great because it's all about 20 to 40 minutes, and I'm in and out, and then working in some of this, diet stuff is going to be good for me too. But that's like what I need. I need to be on like some sort of schedule, or I'm just a lost, like you want to talk about Coke and cupcakes and fucking,
California
burrito. Here's the other one. Little Caesars deep dish, baby.
The dude, $6 hot and ready.
Those are actually $11. Those are $11. High quality Hawaiian style deep dish Little Caesars. Check this out. You order that shit online. You don't even have to fucking talk to a soul. You just walk in. They email you a little code to the hot box. You press your little code in and open the window. It's like fucking Idiocracy and shit. And then you just I pull my pizza out, and then I go home and eat my deep dish. Fucking stuff my face, bro. It's really good, but not very good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So do they have the fucking buy 10, get one free?
I don't know. That's a good thought. I hopefully will not be attending any Little Caesars rallies anytime here soon. But I do like the Fred bread. Is that what it's called? Fred bread? Crazy bread.
Yeah, I think the Fred bread is from
Scenarios.
That's right.
That's right. I know that shit.
But yeah, no. Hey, so getting back though to the health and the fitness, man. Like, so I know that was one thing that you had always talked about, like how that was a big part of your recovery program, man. And the yoga stuff aside, man. But so when I was running and shit, like I truly felt. And I've been trying to get back on that fucking run game, but you know how us humans are, right? The things that are the best for us are fucking the hardest for us to do, right?
You jacked your knee up too.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Busted the fucking kneecap and stuff. But dude, the exercise, diet alone, put the diet off to the sides. The exercise, dude, it's so good.
Hell yeah.
I found, for me personally, like it's so good for the fucking mind.
Yep.
And that was another place where I was able to find peace and resolve. And then, even after, just have a little bit of fucking grace on myself. Like, damn, bro, like your fat ass just ran fucking 3 miles and you're 270 fucking pounds. You know what I mean? Like you would have never tried that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely am a huge advocate now, for just body movement. I mean, it doesn't have to be some fucking intense workout. They talk about, just a mile walk or a half-mile walk is one of the most healthy things that you could do for your body and for your mind.
Yeah. Well, dude, as human beings, like there's a few things that we need to thrive in. It's like, a decent diet. We need sunlight, and we need some fucking exercise. You know what I mean? And like those, a combo of those three things, like I feel like we should be pretty healthy for the most part. I mean, obviously, shit happens sometimes, no doubt, but that's why it pisses me off when I see, and I'm guilty of it too, like eating shitty food. I've just admitted to all of it. I do it almost every fucking episode, I feel like, on here now. Yeah. But like, it pisses me off sometimes that there's like a pill for everything and all the food is shitty. Liquor store on every corner, fast food joint on every corner. Like, and then you start getting into the whole, like pharmaceutical talks and stuff where everything, it's all like designed to just keep us like shitty because, you kind of follow the money and you can kind of see where that goes, when really it's really not that difficult. It's pretty simple. Like eat healthy, get some sun, and exercise a little bit, and you can be pretty healthy for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's so the shittiest part about all of that is that it takes a little bit of effort, man. So like even the diet that I follow now. So like the last week, man, my wife and I, we both ate fucking shitty a lot. Like
what was the shittiest thing you ate
for the whole week? I think I had some pizza. right? Like,
pizza's so good, but it's not great for you.
Yeah, but there's fucking cheese on it, man, and I'm not supposed to be eating cheese. And it was the first time I had cheese in quite a while, right? But I felt like shit, and then it just turned into that thing like, oh well, I had some pizza, might as well have some fucking ice cream because I fucked up. So the thing that irritates me the most is that, aside from my own personal accountability and my willingness to stick to a fucking program that I said that I was going to stick to, it's so easy in our society to not eat fucking healthy. Yeah. Because I mean, even the prepackaged salad that you buy at fucking Safeway
Fresh
or Lucky's or Fresh Start
not
or
really.
wherever the fuck you buy it is still not that great for you.
Yeah.
Right. So, actually, and I will just say I am not a nutritionist or anything. So I'm so far from that, but it's my understanding, that really eating something healthy and clean is probably one of the hardest things to track down and prepare. And it's very time consuming. And this is where we are at as a society, because we want what we want and we fucking want it now. Yeah. And that's why there are so many fucking liquor stores on every, in every city or town. That's why there's fast food on every corner. God forbid you can't pull up and get a fucking fresh tossed salad anywhere. No. Or you can't get like a nice organic grass-fed cut piece of beef at a fucking burger store wrapped in fucking lettuce anymore. Like, not that you could ever get anything like that. You know what I mean? So I totally feel the frustration of, and the
why hasn't anybody invented that yet? Or maybe they have. It's obviously not around here, but like a drive-through, like salad spot where you can go through and get organic, like farm-raised chicken without all the bullshit in it, or some steak, or vegetarian or vegan, whatever it is. Like, why don't they have a place where you can do that yet? That's a good, and I don't know. I think they do down in LA maybe.
It's a great idea, but I mean, a lot of us fucking still balk at that shit, right? Like, what do you want? Your fucking organic grass-fed fucking cow, right? Like, you fucking pussy. Why do you want that? You know what I mean? And so the other thing too, right? Like the vegan thing, don't get it twisted. My mom always told me, don't trust a fat vegan, right? Just because you eat vegan or plant-based does not mean that it's fucking healthy by any means. You know what I mean? So the diet that I try and follow, I try and eat organic and no oils and no salts and all this other, whole food type bullshit. But at the end of the day, man, it's so hard to fucking follow, and it shouldn't have to be that way.
I'm on I was on a In-N-Out diet as well. Those are like the two spots, In-N-Out and California burrito. It was like, oh, what do we, maybe throw a Chick-fil-A in there every once in a while. Just shit, dude. Cause it's so easy. You got kids and don't get me wrong. Jess cooks too. She cooks some good, she made some bomb ass, homemade chicken noodle soup tonight in the old Instapot, and it was hella good. So we go back and forth. And I think that's like, that's been one of the biggest struggles is here I am, like, getting great workouts in, 3, 4, sometimes 5 days a week. But my eating fluctuates so much that you're kind of like, it's a wash almost, you know what I mean? And so in order to get both of those dialed in, it really is, it takes work. It takes some effort. And the mindset has to be, I have an alert set on my phone. It goes off at 6 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. And it says, stay hard, motherfucker. Yeah. All it says, because it's David Goggins. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, yeah, David Goggins. That's one of my most favorite.
I love that dude. Yeah. I love his mentality. And if I can just soak up a little bit of that mentality every day. So when it goes off on my phone, I hear it in his voice in my head. And it's worked, a lot of the time where I'm starting to feel shitty, or maybe I'm going to go eat something shitty for lunch. Stay hard, motherfucker. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, man, I can't do that. So it's a struggle, dude. It is a struggle. And you're so right that food, that's the one of the food and booze, right? I mean, those are the two, liquor store, fucking McDonald's on every corner.
Well, so it all starts with that craving, right? Like, so today, man, I had a nice salad for lunch, fruit and all this other stuff leading up. and there was this craving that popped into my head. Like, so I had mentioned before that I've been struggling with the fucking sweet tarts, right? So I was like, man, you know what would really pick me up right now is some fucking sweet tarts. So I hopped in the fucking truck and I went down and I was just going to get sweet tarts. I ended up walking out of the fucking gas station with some sweet tarts, some Frito honey twist, and a fucking bottle of Coke, right? So it all started with that fucking craving of not being okay with the way I was feeling. So I was like, oh yeah, some sweet tarts would make me feel better. Mm-hmm. And it ended up going down and buying this fucking, this shit.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, feeling like shit that I collapsed and went into that, right? So I was right back where I was at when the fucking craving started.
Now apply that same concept to one beer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and that's why it's so, well spoken and known that one is not enough. Or wait, how does it go again? One is too many.
One is too many, and
thousand's not enough. Yeah. And so all it takes is one beer for me, and I know my ass probably be dead or in the gutter somewhere because one beer, it's going to go all to hell after that. Fuck it. I already fucking drank. I'm fucking in it to win it now, and I'm probably going to die. Like straight up. And I know that sounds stupid. Yeah. Someone might not understand that mentality, but there's something with that mentality. You apply it to food, or to alcohol, to whatever, and it's really hard once that momentum gets going to stop. I don't know what it is, bro. I still don't understand it till this day, 100%, but I'm scared of it. I know that. Yeah. So that's a good thing. It's a good fear too. It's just it's a mental like note and, being aware, but yeah, dude, crazy. We're fucking 40, bro.
40.
Almost. I'll be 40 this year.
Yeah. So I think, like a lot of what we talked about, man, it goes back to being, or recognizing a craving or feeling come and go. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to fucking react to everything. You don't have to, for not every action, there doesn't have to be a reaction, and I think that's one of the biggest things. And that just goes to show, man, that this whole life or this life of recovery for me, man, it's a process, right? Because, before there was that thought or craving of booze or alcohol or not being okay with present moment. And I stuff that or hid that with fucking booze and alcohol, right? And then so now it's more of like the sweet tarts and the fucking soda. Who knows what it's going to be next week, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I know that maybe tomorrow, if I kind of remember what today brought me and I'm able to grow from that, I think it's it's a good thing, right? Yeah, and we they talk about in the rooms, man, of AA and NA. And what other A you want to put in front of the A is that, it's all about progress and not perfection, man. I think the biggest thing is recognizing that, that if we're able to learn a little bit from today, that tomorrow will be a lot better and maybe even brighter. And even if it's not, you know what I mean, being okay with whatever it brings, I think is a huge thing. And that's kind of what's kept me on this path, at least for the last maybe, I don't know. I think, obviously it all kind of started and, I offer, I should probably throw a little gratitude your way. It all started when we went and saw Noah and TJ Woodward talk in San Francisco, man. And that was like my fucking awakening to like, man, there is a different way. And I just
forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
What was that? TJ was doing I haven't talked to him in a minute, man. He's a good dude too. I would always see him at the conferences, and obviously we didn't do the conference last year. But what he did an event, and then Noah spoke, and he spoke out in San Francisco.
I can't remember. It was I can't remember what Elevate? It was called. Yeah, so it was Elevate. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. So they had a nice little talk, and it was it was basically all the cognitive. And I'm probably butchering this. I'm really sorry, but it's it was a lot of the mindfulness kind of talk of recovery and rehabilitation. And at the end of the day, man, I think that you don't have to struggle with alcohol or drugs to benefit from a lot of the teachings that are out there in AA and NA or these other recovery programs, man. You just have to suffer from the fucking human condition is what I like to say.
Yeah.
You know, and I
we're
think
human.
We're fucking human.
Someone totally changes of subject kind of, but I don't know how this came up the other day. I don't even remember who it was that I was talking to. Somehow my bachelor party came up, and we were talking about how wild that shit was. I mean, who goes camping in the middle of fucking nowhere just to do a bunch of drugs on their bachelor party? Well, I did. And the first thing somebody said, and I wish I could remember who it was, they go, yeah, isn't that the time Seth fell asleep on the raft and floated out in the lake and got all sunburned?
Yep.
Yeah. And I had forgotten about it, and I was dying. We didn't fall asleep. You fucking passed out because I don't know if it was because we were up all night or what, but I remember you rolled back in on like this pink raft. Fucking
that's also
just
the time
red,
that
bro.
I spilled all the fucking blow on the floor of the raft or on the floor of the tent. You guys were in there fucking like shaking the tent out and fucking snorting this shit off the fucking floor of the tent. It's like,
holy
dude,
shit.
It was fucking insane.
Insanity, bro. Like no, I don't know. No fear, no care. Obviously didn't have kids at the time, so that probably, that helped. But yeah, it's funny, man. We had a lot of good times too. Yeah. I always say that. Like I don't regret anything because it kind of shaped my life today. Yeah, I wouldn't be here today without that. Someone actually asked that in the podcast I did earlier. That was one of the questions was, do you regret, or what was it? How do we let go of the past? Like I still have these feelings. There's still parts of me that are the same me that were then, but it's just different now. And so I acknowledge those things. I understand that they made me, who I am today, but I'm not that person anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy when you kind of think about that stuff. Get stuck in it. Sorry, my phone's going off.
No, I think it's, I would agree with that, man. Like I don't regret, any of it. I think a lot of, growth has come out of, my past. Obviously I get a lot of my humor from the shit that was said or done or witnessed in my past. And I'm able to laugh about it. Right. And then, I also, am super grateful for a lot of, being able to get all of my drinking out from the time I was fucking 8.5 or 9 to the time I was 30, like done. Like I don't have to do that stuff anymore because I'm not one of those fucking normal people that could just go and have a beer. Right. Yeah. I'm the one that's got to drink till I'm fucking blacked out and I have a hangover the next day. And so that's the other thing that keeps me sober, man, is not having that fucking hangover. Yeah. Which is amazing.
That shit's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. So on the back behind me right now in the old little office studio here, there's how many records are up there? 8 or 9, 10? I don't know, something like that. If you had to pick your top 3 that you're looking at right now, go 3, 2, and 1. I'm just curious.
Oh, so in a major way, number 1.
E40 in a major way, dude, no doubt. One of the best albums ever.
Probably Cheating at Solitaire, number 2.
That's a good one.
Maybe.
I haven't even opened that one yet. That one's still sealed.
Yeah, so I don't want to. Cheating at Solitaire is number 2.
Mike Ness.
Yeah, little Mike Ness. And then it's probably a toss up between the Johnny Cash and Too Short, just kind of dependent.
Did you see Cheech and Chong up there?
I did see the Cheech and Chong. Pretty legit. So. And then, obviously, the Papa Roach would be, a close 4.
Yeah, Love, Hate, Tragedy. That's probably my favorite album, I think.
And
one of them. They got a few good ones.
Yeah, I'm just going to fucking go off all of them. And then, obviously, Deftones.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I ever listened to any Earth Crisis or...
That's the Steel Pulse I was telling you about.
Okay.
Remember when I think I texted you with that. I found, so there's an album by Steel Pulse called Earth Crisis, and the cover art on it is fucking crazy. And then obviously, they get a little political, and they have some good reggae jams too, but that album is dope too. How about this one? What you know about that?
Oh, hell yeah. Little Mac Mall. This is your Mac
Get
Mall,
right,
man.
son.
Hell yeah. Yeah, damn.
I've been looking. I tried to find. I've been trying to get.
Even that Reverend Horton Heat.
Yeah, that Reverend Horton Heat album's dope too. That's one of the newer ones. I've been trying to find a copy of the first album. Totally drawing a blank on the name of it right now, but it's really hard to find, and it's like 150, $200. I've been trying to find Drew Down too.
Okay.
Full length.
Yeah.
Can You Feel Me? I think was the album name. I know that song's fucking dope too.
Yeah.
Same thing. Really hard to find. So it's cool to like go back, and I've been into like a little hip hop thing lately.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to get that Too Short, Short Dogs in the House and Life is Too Short.
Hell yeah.
Both of them, I can't find them for under $100.
Yeah, so if you had the Life is
find.
Too Short up there, so that'd be kind of a top. Well, I don't know, man. That fucking In a Major Way is like legit.
That's one of the best albums ever.
So I'm all about, and just I've always been an E40 fan.
Yeah.
So let's just get it twisted. But so, some old school E40 to some Too Short, and then, always like the old school country, and have just, probably over the last 3 or 4 years have rediscovered some reggae. But the E40, whenever, I bump some E40, like there's a whole flashback that goes on in my mind that it's just like pure joy and happiness and fun. Like, absolutely love me some E40. It's kind of crazy, man, what music does to the soul.
Yeah.
And how it can get you into the mood that you want to be in just by changing the song, really.
Dude, and it's a flashback in time too. I'm gonna send you this playlist right now that I made, the mixtape.
Yeah.
But it's called Bay Area OG Hip Hop on Spotify.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's got some of the jams on here. I've been on this one lately. Where'd it go?
So you wanna be a gangster?
Hell yeah.
So dope. I mean, just all kinds of good, Be Legit, Richie Rich.
Hell yeah.
Lots of E40 on here. The Rompilation. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
From Vallejo, California, where the players dwell, where the city and the game run parallel. Dope ass song. Can You Feel Me? Drew Down. Yeah. But I love that shit, RBL Posse, because like it takes you back, to those times. And actually, I just thought of something too. What we were talking about earlier in the last podcast we put out, talking about those pieces of us that are still alive, that like that for me right there, all that old school Bay Area stuff, there's those pieces that are still with me. Like that will never, it'll never go away. It's a moments in time, doing certain things, some of them good, some of them not so good, but that music will take me back to those times. And I feel like it's not an unhealthy, like maybe in the first part of my like sobriety or when I was going through shit, sometimes we got to be careful what we put in our eardrums, and that could be podcasts or movies, anything too. But like, dude, that will never go away for me. I'll be, if I'm lucky enough to live till I'm 70, I'm going to be bumping some Short Dogs in the House or something, dude. Like it's it's a part of me. It's never going to go away.
Bro, I think, dude, and so this is something that we talked about a long time ago when we went to an A's game, and I still truly believe that childhood joy and that adolescent joy, if you are able to bring yourself back to those moments in your life to where you felt most joyous as a fucking innocent child, or even as an innocent adolescent or teen, and you're able to bring yourself back to those places, for me now in my 40s, like that's when I'm able to smile like my biggest fucking smile and have like the hardest fucking belly laugh today. I had a conversation at work today, right? And there was a term that was brought up. I'm not even going to say what the term was, but we looked up this term in the Urban Dictionary, and I had the biggest laugh. I laughed like I was like a junior high boy, dude. And there was just so much joy and laughter and just like, oh my God. And I think it's super important that even at 40 or, however old we are, as time goes on, that if that we bring ourselves back to that joy. And I think it's
absolutely,
yeah,
there's a kid like that, childlike spirit. And, when we can connect with that, it's joyous, happy, and free, bro. Like straight up. I know exactly what you're talking about. Can I try to guess what the phrase was?
You're not going to guess.
You can't even give me a hint? Rusty trombone.
No.
Blumpkin.
No. I will tell you when we are done recording, because I don't want anyone to fucking look this up and be like, you sick fucker.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, it's hilarious though, but it's disgusting.
I'm sure. That's freaking great. Yeah, some of the things, dude, that we did and said, and did, it's a different time now, which is, great, I guess, but fucking not really.
Yeah.
I was so speaking of one last thing on the records, one more record I've been looking at, just because there's a lot of history for us there, and Chad included, and from back in the day. I found Jerky Boys on vinyl. God, yes. And I'm not it's like the one that I found one copy of it was like 70 something bucks, dude. And I was like, dude, I'm not fucking spending $70 on Jerky Boys, but I'm really close to doing it just to have it. It may show up here soon. And I think it's number 2. Pablo Honey, please come to Florida. That was another good times, dude. Like, we used to do so many prank calls, and we were on the cusp of and then we were doing prank calls, and then all of a sudden we found Jerky Boys, and we were like what the fuck is this?
Yeah, they stole our idea.
Dude, so great though.
Yeah, dude, this was even before caller ID and shit.
It was.
Right? So you could call the same people and get a whole story going with them. Yeah, dude, it was the Jerky Boys, man. I always, when we're packing to go on a trip or whatever, it's always make sure you bring all your shoes and glasses so you have them. And it's like my wife looks at me and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's just, so it goes, it's one of those things that always bring me back to my childhood that make me laugh. And it's just kind of that inside joke that it's like, this roller coaster that we're on. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of serious scenarios, right? And not everything is always good and fucking great. But when we're able to go back to those moments, man, it's the joy that comes out of it. Yeah, you gotta fucking laugh. But yeah, dude, some Jerky Boys for sure was,
dude, so great. Sal Rosenberg. Who else was there? Frank Rizzo.
Yeah, Frank.
Open your fucking ears, jackass. That's probably on Spot. I wonder if that's on Spotify. I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah, so I don't even. So who were the Jerky Boys? I mean,
they were from New York. I can't remember their names. White dude, and I want to say he was an Indian dude. Both of them, or
Mexican it was
sure.
Tarbaj, the Egyptian magician.
I do magic act.
Yeah.
What I do? I eat hot coal.
Yeah.
I stab a customer in the eye with saber. Freaking great, dude. So just hilarious. Let's see if it's on here. Jerky Boys. Oh yeah, it's on here. Both albums are on here too. The first one. I wonder if I can play these without getting in trouble. Probably not. I don't know. Who knows, dude? Laser surgery, insulator job. Oh, there's the Egyptian magician.
Yeah.
Yes, hello.
Jerky Boys.
I called you before. My name is the Egyptian magician.
The Egyptian magician. He does a magic act.
They told me to call back in 10 minutes.
All right, I'm going to stop it because I don't know what copyright, all that kind of crap, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not really that important enough for anyone to fuck with me, but you never know. But yeah, those were some good times, dude, for sure, dude. I remember being so young and innocent, at your house, spending the night and hanging upside down so all the blood could rush to our heads, and then standing up and whoa, what was that? Look at us. We're trying to escape it fucking 8 years old, or not quite 8, 11,
yeah,
11
sure.
years old.
For real.
What is this?
We're always looking for that next great fucking high to get us out of mind and body, dude.
Yep. Stealing beers, shotgunning them in Jared and Chad's room, half Raiders and half 49ers.
Yeah, bro.
That was funny too. Good shit, dude.
Man.
Yeah. So what are we going to do? We're going to wrap this thing up. Anything else you want to add, or what are you thinking? How you doing on time?
You know what's great, man, about just always coming back, man, is that it's just like a normal conversation.
Always.
You know what I mean? So, obviously there's always that when I hop in the car, like, oh man, fuck, we should have talked about that. We should have talked about this. And I think the organic nature is what is drawing to this podcast that you've created and, that you've had. For what did we say? It was 8 years now, dude.
I think it's about 7 years since I started it. So 2014, yeah, right around there.
I think I'm glad to obviously be back. Obviously there's through the craziness of fucking 2020, whatever you want to call it, whatever. Like there was some checking in on Shane to see if the podcast was still going down, and there was some moments, and I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, so I'm so happy to see and know that you're okay and you're still putting it out, dude. Because
Thanks,
so many people, like I said, we talked about this, before, is that you've touched so many, and I think the flip side of that is all the people that have touched you and your family and this whole thing. I think it's a great thing, man, and I think it's it's fucking awesome, dude. I'll always remember that first conversation of you like, man, I think I'm gonna start a podcast, and I was like, bro, do it, yeah. Like, that's fucking cool, and not even knowing what a fucking podcast was, right?
We were at like Starbucks or some shit, huh? I just remember that over on Davis Street over here, and I remember being hella scared, like, damn, what is Seth gonna think? Like, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah,
I still don't know some days, but like, there's always that fear, like starting something new, stepping out. Like, damn, I'm gonna talk about like the shit that I don't like. I'm just experiencing day by day. And I remember you were super supportive. You were like, hell yeah, dude, do that. That's dope. Like, and who would have thought we'd be sitting here 7 years later, still kind of just plugging away at it. We're gonna have to make sure that we do this more often too, because I really enjoyed, I really enjoy always having you on. I really enjoyed having you do your own podcast and episodes, a while back. And I know a lot of people enjoy hearing from you and hearing your take on, because your take is different than my take.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's what's so awesome about it is we get, through all of us, everyone listening, me and you, like everyone's experience is different. And so when we get to share those things and, we pick one chunk up from someone here and then a little bit from someone else, and we kind of make our own little, formula, I guess, so we need to make sure we do more of these, because I have a feeling that people want to continue to hear from you and shit.
Oh, that's so sweet. I appreciate that. But so, I mean, and this is a true sign too, right? That you could have two people that come from the same background that have, and let's just call it what it is, bro. There are some things in our lives that we have complete, total opposite fucking opinions about.
Absolutely.
But yet we could be friends for 20 plus fucking years. Mm-hmm. We could sit in the same fucking room and have a fucking conversation. We could have an unconditional love for one another. I truly believe that, our friendship is one of those friendships. It's a brotherhood that is going to last forever. Right. Yeah. And I think it's important, man, to really, even especially during, whatever the fuck is going on in the world and in this country right now, is that, I truly feel that people are so polarized, in opposites, and and this is just my opinion and my reflection of what I see going on. But I think that we've come to a place as humans that we categorize ourselves into these different categories, and we're unwilling to see outside of that and see the principles before personalities, right?
Yeah,
and good. I think a lot of it, we come blind to the principles because there's so many strong personalities out there, but this is a true sign, right? That this shit can happen.
It can.
And just to be honest, like I have no fucking issues, right? Like I feel right at home next to you.
Yeah.
And talking about this shit, knowing deep down inside that we have some really big differences, and we've talked about them. And it's not a big deal, right? And I think that, this is it's a true sign that people can fucking get along in this world.
Absolutely, dude.
There's no right or wrong way.
Well, I think too, like that's one of the things that I kind of like came to terms with and learned, like we talked about growth earlier through this last year, especially like, when opinions or beliefs or politics or whatever it is start coming between relationships with people you care about, that's a problem to me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that I've had to really kind of work through and start to realize like that, that it was affecting me, you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to, because that's like the beauty of it. Like, and Josh, of course, Josh has always been a good one about this. Never like relationships before anything. That's kind of how it should be. And you can have different opinions and stuff. You can have different beliefs. That's healthy. It would be fucking boring if we all believed the same thing. Yeah. And we all just were the same way and we all thought this one way. Like we need to have a balanced viewpoints, I guess. It doesn't mean we have to agree on everything, but it's okay to see someone else's perspective and just go, cool, I can see where you're coming from. I don't fucking agree with that. Yeah. Or maybe I do. Actually, yeah, I do agree, or whatever it is. But like, I feel like we live in this system now that is projected upon us mainly by media stuff. And I'm not going to go too far into this, I promise, but like it's projected on us that we have to like pick this side and we have to believe this way. And then it's like you said, polarized is a great word to use because it's exploded through computers, through phones. It's part of the reason I got off of social media, because it's training us to divide. And that's not a healthy thing, No. And so I've had a lot of growth in that, dude. And it does feel good to just even let it out right in this moment right now. I'm glad you brought that up. Like relationships are more important than anything, dude, especially family, especially friends. And of course, strangers and stuff too. Like we can disagree on shit. Doesn't mean we got to hate each other, Yeah,
absolutely, dude. And Josh is a great one for that. He is. Like, so I haven't, seen or spoken to Josh for quite some time. And I saw him I was out hiking with Jay and Mel and he was up running up the hill and he's like, "What's up, bro?" And he gave me the biggest fucking hug. And I was like, man, it felt so good, to get that from him, and it's just a sign, right? Like it doesn't matter what the fuck is going on in the world or your difference in opinion. When people care about you, they care about you all the time. Yeah. And when I saw Josh that day, like, I truly felt that. Like, I truly felt like he was like, damn, bro, it's fucking good to see you, And I see Josh like walking the dogs and he'll pull over and we'll fucking chat it up. And it's like, oh, bro, go get to work. Go do your thing. Right. And it's always the same. Like, I always know what I'm getting with Josh. Yeah. And if we had more people in this world, and I do believe that Josh isn't the only one like that, right? There's a lot of people like that. But it's those motherfuckers that are a true
like Josh has the gift to bring Holy Spirit, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it. He has a gift to bring that to the street and not in the church. I don't know if that makes sense, but and he's very good at that. And that goes back to that relationship first. And so he's taught me a bit about that this year. You know what I mean? And he's always been like that. I've always known him to be like that, but just with everything that happened this last year, like I was saying earlier, to reflect back on that, some of my attitudes towards, I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts previously. Like I had to make amends to somebody, who was a friend of mine through the podcast, where, it was fucking so, imagine that. So like how divisive is social media in some aspects too. And don't get me wrong, there's good aspects of it. It can be used positively, but in my experience, it's been, from what I see too, it's been more divisive than anything. In any case, there were some comments made. It ended up in an email exchange with this person, and it didn't come to like, it wasn't like super shit talking, but it was basically, and I'll take responsibility from my end of this. It was like, and I'm right. And I don't fucking care. Like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that obviously, but like that's kind of how I felt. And I said it respectfully in a way, but it was like, I'm right. And I'm not going to, this is who I am and whatever kind of thing. And as I guess this would have been earlier this year, I was sitting in this same fucking spot I'm sitting in right now. And thank God, God, whatever, just said, hey, you need to make amends. You need to hit him up and tell him that you're sorry and that was wrong of what you did. You know what I'm saying? What you said, how you said it, because that relationship, it's not like a best friend of mine, like you and I, but he's still, somebody who I, admire and is in recovery and that kind of stuff. Like I had to say like, dude, hey, I'm sorry, man. I was fucking kind of being a jackass, and I hope you can accept my apology. Our friendship means way more than that. So like, I guess just like in learning as we go along, to nut up and admit when we're wrong and when we've said things or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That there's some growth in that obviously. And there's also some relief in that too. It feels good,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, so it's those lessons that, they're taught in other places, but it's those lessons that are taught in the big book, in the NA book, that are taught in the recovery program that I think could benefit anybody.
Yep,
whether you're an alcoholic or you're an addict or you eat a shit ton of food or you love porn. All of those things ring true with me. You know what I mean? I think that those lessons are taught for the benefit of us human beings to be able to treat each other with dignity and love. Yeah. Right. And so that's the other thing, right? Is knowing and understanding that we're going to fuck up. We're human. Right. But coming back to that place to where you could be like, yeah, I'm kind of an asshole. You know what I mean? I need to nut up and I do need to, make an amends or apologize, promptly admit, when something that I have done has harmed another. Right. Because I truly believe that, we're on this earth, together and we all depend on each other, whether it's, driving on the freeway or fucking going to the grocery store. Right. We all are there for the same reason. And the end goal is the same, to be able to go home to our families and or go home to ourselves or our dogs or, whatever it is. But we all want to be in this place of peace. Yep. Yeah. But so, yeah, definitely I do. And the other thing, like I was talking to Mel the other day, like, I don't, the thing with me about, the polar opposites, man, is the things that pull us away, whether it be a politician or a fucking news channel or a social media outlet or whatever, the people that are running those fucking things are not the people that, are holding the door for you at the grocery store. No. They're not the people that are sitting next to you in church. They're not the people that are sending their kids to school with your kids. They're the people that are outside of our communities that are, and I believe, obviously, maybe they're not doing it knowingly pulling us apart, but they're doing it for a reason. A lot of it is, I believe, is financially based.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is an ulterior motive there, but when we open our eyes and look at our present moment and see what's going on around us, it's those, beings that are there with you, that are the ones that we need to take care of the most.
Dude. And it's such a great point, right? Like what you said right there. Open our eyes and look around what's around us. The shit that's on TV, the shit that's on social media, the shit that's on your computer, that is not, if we look at this, like if we really step back, that shit is not our reality. Mm-mm. My reality right now is sitting in front of you. I can see you. I can talk to you. Like I can look around and I can see things and what, like that is reality in the moment. We're polarized by this huge, I would call it an assault of media upon us that puts us in this state of perception versus reality. Like, and so when we get wrapped up in that, perception of what reality we think it is. And it's really not, because it's not what's going on in front of us.
Right.
It's fucking fake. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's literally fake. And it's funny. I was over at Josh's house the other night, and me and Justin and Kevin and a couple of us, we were hanging out, dude, and we were chilling by the fire, and you know how that goes, right? You start getting into some fun discussions and shit. Yep. And one of the points that came up was the earth is flat, right? Just like, okay. And it's hilarious, right? Yeah. And why not? What was the earth fucking flat? Well, I don't know, like what this and that. But one of the things I thought of that's a good kind of example of just what I'm saying is, I only know the earth is round from what I've been told and from what and I'm not saying the earth is flat either, by the way. So let me just preface it. I don't fucking know.
Right.
I only know the earth is round by what I've seen on TV, what I learned in school, what people, I have never been myself to outer space to look down with my own two fucking eyes and see that the earth is round. Therefore, it's speculatory to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My reality is only really what I see in front of me. And I'll tell you what I see in front of me each day is human beings being nice to each other, not giving a shit about what color their skin is or where they're from or what they do or, generally what they like. The most part is people being good to each other. I see it all the fucking time. And then you turn the TV on and you see this divisiveness and people hate this person. That I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but that's not my reality. Right. And getting wrapped up in all that shit, it fucks you up.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but
it makes absolute sense.
It's
it's
kind of crazy.
So you talk about that, going back to the earth being round or flat or whatever, right? Like that is a true, like on an elementary level definition of like your domestication, right? So you are told what to believe, from a very young person, right? And then so now, into adulthood, like even though you haven't seen it for yourself, you have faith in or believe that the earth is round, right? So that's just part of your conditioning, right? And to know or think anything outside of that is just fucking taboo.
Yeah. And it is. I think that when we talk about spiritual awakenings, just in recovery in general, I think that there's a point that we all face in our lives, or maybe there's many points that we all face in different points of our lives where perception versus reality can change. You know what I mean? And we can really start questioning things. And then, but the trick is being okay with questioning them. Going, okay, I've been told the earth is round. I've seen pictures of it. Do I 100% know that's real? Not really, but it doesn't mean I need to fuck my whole day up trying to figure it out. And like I don't really know, you know what I mean? But the domestication's a good point.
So that's the other side of it, right? Is knowing when and where to pull yourself back and not get so wrapped up into it to where it distracts from what the fuck is really going on, right? And I think that happens a lot of times, especially in the last year, right? And here's the other thing, man. Maybe all of this shit has been happening around us for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And this year was, one of those like awakenings, like, hey, motherfuckers, wake up. I'm going to throw all this shit at you at fucking once, to get right. You know what I mean? So my dad talks about the vibrations of earth changing, and I can only talk about it on a real elementary level, very high level, but he truly believes it, that there is a change in the vibrations of earth and of actually, just kind of all beings, right? And if you are not able to change your own vibrations, that you may or probably will not be able to survive what's thrown at us next. And a lot of that comes from, compassion, gratitude, and love, right? And knowing and understanding that we're all going through this shit together. You know, I'm pretty fortunate to have a dad that is, I don't know, he's fucking out of this world. And sometimes I look at him like, God damn, bro, like where do you get this shit? But he's so fucking wise.
Oh yeah. I love that dude.
Yeah.
I see him walking the dog sometimes in the morning, and we stop and chop it up, and he's just, you never leave Jay without a good feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, bud. You know, like, and man, he's living life, bro. You want to talk about a dude who just like has been through some shit, and is living life to the fullest. I mean, and trying to explore and grow and be good to people. And, you know, that's, you know, he's one of them for sure. You know?
And he's definitely, had the opportunity to, you know, take a different path in life with some of the stuff that he's been dealt with over the last, you know, just call it 10, 15 years. Right. And he's always taken the path that, gives him the most, gratitude for life and the most joy for life, and being able to, accept, exactly what's thrown at him. And then, you know, so that day's over, on to the next. Right. And, that's one of the things that I've, you know, tried to inherit from him. But it's just, it's so fucking deep within him. Right. But yeah.
Did he move to Hawaii yet?
So, you know, he does the half and half.
Nice.
I don't think that he'll ever fully move. I think there will come a time where he spends the majority of his life there. But I think that, you know, I truly believe that that's where he's supposed to be, where he's meant to be at this exact juncture in his life. And I'm so fucking happy that, that's what he gets to do.
Oh yeah.
And that's what
I could see that.
That's what he's, you know, he's definitely living the life of Riley, whoever the fuck Riley is. I don't even know where that term came from.
I don't either, but I've heard it before. I have no idea where it came from or what it means. Oh man, that's good shit. I'm glad you got on Locals, dude. I'm going to be excited to see you up in there too.
Yeah, I got to finish my profile up. I'll do that probably.
Yeah, whenever, dude.
Tomorrow.
But I mean, I literally just started it, and it's growing pretty good, dude. Some good folks in there. So I'm glad you came on the podcast, dude. Thank you, dude. It's been good to hang out and just chop it up and talk. I feel like I learned and grew a little bit just in this conversation, bro. Like for real. I even realized a couple things just throughout, you know, our little chat tonight, just about kind of how wrapped up I really was last year, bro. And I've learned to give myself grace in, you know, those times, those periods. I mean, I guess I had to go through some of that stuff to kind of see the other side of it now, you know? But it feels refreshing to, just to not have to try to figure it out.
Yeah. And bro, like we were talking before where you hit the record button, man, like we have never, you know, in our time been thrown anything so difficult.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you just want to, you know, leave the fucking, pandemic out of it, right? All this other political bullshit, right? No matter what side of the fucking fence you're on, right? Like it's there's been some stuff that's been really fucked up, right? And said and done, right? But it's a true sign that humanity is fucking suffering, but we don't have to suffer for eternity, right? And it doesn't matter. And I think that, you know, we are placed on this earth and we are here in this moment to pass that wisdom on. You know, like you say that I have given you some, you have given me just as much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and no, acknowledging it that, and so nothing but gratitude to you, Shane, for sure. And I don't know, bro, like when the fuck are you gonna, come and do some yoga with me? I've been trying to get you to fucking get in the room.
I need to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to set something up before you guys head out.
Do you do it when you go to work, or do you have a studio down here you do it at? Or both?
So usually when I go to work, but they have more classes now, Saturdays and Sundays. You know, they got them on the late. Well, not the late night. I guess the latest is 6:30. But so yeah, there's, and then they just started doing classes hella early in the morning. So I'm so stoked on that.
I want to get some men spandex though,
bro.
The shorts, like the '80s ones. Remember with the yellow or like pink stripe?
Get them. You could go in there in some fucking boxer briefs. I mean, I wear, dude. So this is probably one of the only places that I feel the most comfortable in the least amount of clothes with the most amount of people.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like I give two shits that I am in there with some fucking, because no one cares. Yeah. Right. The point is to be in there for some self-reflection and self-help. Right. But yes, I totally get the fucking humor in the cute yoga costume.
Well, I was just picturing, I have my favorite pair of Reebok shorts. I ran in them today, actually. Dude, you know what I did today too? I keep saying we're going to wrap this up and we keep going, which is great. But I ran, I shouldn't say I snuck in. The gate was open at the high school right here. They got a new track and I hopped on there, dude, and I did a couple laps and then I ran a couple sets of stairs, dude. Oh man, it was killer. Like, and then rolled back home. But I had my favorite Reebok shorts on. Are they the
5-inch?
They might be 7-inch. I don't know. They're still they're above the knee though, for sure. And they're super thin and they're hella comfortable. Those would be good to do some yoga in, I think, dude. Yeah. I'll have to rock those out.
Hell yeah.
You let me know. Well, good shit, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much, bro. It's been a pleasure. It's been great. And obviously, you know, the conversations are always super organic and I fucking love them.
Yep, me too, man. I don't know, do you give your email out on or your contact info? Or
man, if you want to hit me up, man, just super easy, Seth Manter at yahoo.com. Seth Manter at yahoo.com.
I still have a Yahoo address.
Yeah, just fucking hit me up, drop me a line if you want to shoot the shit.
Oh yeah. Good stuff, bro. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you guys. You can check us out at thatsoberguy.com. Be sure to join the Locals community. Links are in the show notes there. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone who's supporting. Peace, love, and respect. Keep your blood clean.